opportunity to get in front of our fans here, play in this building here was important for us, and obviously a chance to get some game conditioning that we desperately need. So it's good to do that against somebody else. Appreciate Chaminade doing that. I know they're going to be over here for a few games. So a lot of good things to take from tonight, and then some things that I just was disappointed in that we've got to get better in.
As far as things you want to get better at is rebounding.
Rebounding. Yeah, I think I just don't think we're nearly where we need to be on that end, on either end. Yeah.
How much is that something you have keyed in on this preseason? I know with so many new faces, there's probably a million things you're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Where does that fit into everything you're working on?
We have really stressed it, and now we had two of our better rebounders out, but I just think, Adam, I just think we've got to get better in that area. I just don't think we're nearly where we need to be. We're not physical enough. We don't pursue the ball with enough effort. Our size is okay, but it's not overwhelming. And I just think we've got to be better in that area.
When I asked Roddy and Bruce, like the main things they feel you've been harping on during the preseason, they both immediately said defense, defensive efficiency, defensive rebounding. Where do you think you are as a team as you start to close this preseason as far as trying to just defend better than you have in the last year?
To be honest with you, we struggled in a couple areas in the scrimmage, and that's kind of what I refer back to as much as anything is how were we in that scrimmage, defending. We just, we rebounded it fairly well, but we did not defend well enough. We got beaten transition a lot. It was good to take from that. Tonight it was hard to kind of gauge it, to be honest with you.
Coach, would you expect Justice and Eugene to be available for the season opener?
I would expect Justice to get closer to that point. Justice is, I feel bad for the kid because he's been a part of pretty much everything that we've done. Once he got healthy towards the end of summer, he probably could have played in the Bahamas, but that was more of a precaution. And this, he had an ankle sprain, came back, played in the scrimmage. Then he had an ankle tweak again, same ankle, and that's why he was out. Gene, God bless him. He's been out a lot of the summer, and he's been out of now with this concussion for a little bit, and he just has been, he's been out a lot. So I feel bad for him, and I'm not sure on what his time frame's going to be.
And then how impressed were you by what Tanner did? 25 points in 25 minutes, 10 for 12 from the field. Is that kind of, common from what you've seen out of him, or was it a particularly special night for him?
Tanner's been good. Tanner really struggled in the scrimmage. And I think when you have a young man who really struggles the prior night, and he'll admit to you, he really struggled. And he cares, and Tanner really cares. And he works, and Tanner really works. And he's a good player. They're going to bounce back. And you really have confidence in that. So I felt like he played better. Obviously, he really came on and did some great things tonight and played really well. But I think the other day was kind of like, whoa, I think it was eye-opening for him. And I think he just came back with the right approach and worked, to put his head down and worked, and I knew he would respond.
Expect that to be a widespread awareness for your team through these couple non-conference games you have in the Big Ten?
Yes, I do. I just think that's so many new faces, and many of them are new to this level. I'm not saying Division I, but high level play. So Tanner included, consistently. So I think new to our system, but also new to this level, new to the demands of this level. So I think you're going to see, some inconsistency. I think Bruce has probably been our most consistent freshman In terms of just kind of heat every day, he's been the same way. And that's kind of what we expected too.
You've been experienced recently, and I wonder, is it harder to figure out a rotation with an experienced team or with a really young team like you have now?
I think there'll be some challenges in figuring out the rotation once we get, fully healthy, because you've got another good player or two, if both are healthy, that are back in the mix. I think I'm going to have to be given, I think I'm going to have to give some liberties here to this, to our rotation, to these young guys. We won't compromise on effort, but we will allow them to play through mistakes. And you're going to see some. You saw some tonight, but you're certainly going to see some. But I think that's going to be necessary for us to grow.
Chris, rebounding, obviously, if you don't have just elite size, what is it that you do to work on something like that? I mean, drill work, obviously, but what kind of things can you do to improve that here quickly?
Yeah, a lot of drill work, a lot of physical work in practice, and just I think it has to be something we have to really continue to emphasize. And I think we've identified that this is an area where, we've always been a solid offensive rebounding team, not great, but not towards the bottom of the league. I'd like for us to be better in that. But defensively, when we've been solid defensively, good defensively, our first 3 years, we were always very good. In some cases, elite on the defensive glass. And I just think we've some of it is size, but some of it is just a buy-in. I think there's a strength component too, that if you said, hey, what concerns you the most? It's probably the strength component of physical bodies. It's not as much the size, it's the strength.
And you said in your opener, there were things you liked too. What did you like? Because I feel like we've harped on.
Yeah, no, I thought we really played together well. And don't hear me, I don't want to sound negative by any stretch. I thought we played together really well, and I thought that was really good to see. I thought we shared the ball. I thought we had some good performances from guys. I thought defensively we had good purpose, really good purpose for stretches, just really good purpose for stretches. I thought they were really attentive today in some prep and game plan prep, and you saw that on the floor. So that was good. And I love the fact that we were able to get a lot of guys minutes that need to play. I thought that was really important for us.
Chris, throughout the preseason, you kept saying we have 4 freshmen, they're going to see a lot of minutes. And then tonight, Bowen did get in and knock down several shots. Are those opportunities going to keep coming from him here and there if he shows the ability to knock down shots, or was that just kind of a product of just the game flow tonight?
It was a byproduct of the game. He's just not physically ready to be able to play both ends. He is a terrific shooter, but he's not physically ready to be able to compete on both ends.
And then just a quick question on Zed. He did, after that full court pass from Isaac, that layup, Zed kind of walked off the court and looked like he was limping a little. Is he good to go?
Yeah, leg cramp. Nothing more significant than that.
Chris, Bruce struggled a little bit from the field, just shooting 1 for 7, but dished out 11 assists. How big was that to see him kind of push aside his shooting struggles and, facilitate the ball like that?
Yeah, no, he's a good shooter, but I also think he's a capable offensive player. But I think that's a part of his game that is going to have some rough patches. But he's capable. He's capable of making 3 or 4 threes in a game. And it was good to see him take a couple. He missed a couple at the basket that I think he'll make. But I think that was I thought you saw some struggles from some of our young guys in both, offensively and defensively. And to be honest with you, it's like, that's great. Because it's great stuff to see on film and show to them and learn from.
It's the first time I got a chance to really see McNeil and Likely play quite a bit, and they started and seemed like they're kind of like glue guys veteran guys who know how to play.
Yeah.
And they also, at times when you were scuffling for a basket, can go get you a basket or two here or there. Just obviously you like something about what both those guys have done for them to be out there at the beginning. Just what are your thoughts about what those guys have been doing?
Well, they're old. I like that. That helps, right, Steve, with so many young guys and new guys. They just give us, some age and experience out there that's important. And they both meet a need. Isaac can be a tremendous two-way player, a tremendous defender. He's got to lead the way, lead the charge with us on that. He's also a great playmaker and facilitator. And Sean is a terrific shooter. He's just got to be a little bit more aggressive, and I think he's got to get in a little bit better condition too.
I was thinking through your first 5 seasons here, and you've always had a guy who could get you 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Do you have that now? Your players seem to indicate that wouldn't be a problem because it could be a different guy every night, but I wonder if you have the same peace with that as a coach that your players seem to.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear their conversations. I'm sure they'd probably give you several different answers. Yeah, it's a little harder than that, but thank God for young people, man. I love it. I do think we have more variety for sure, and more balance. We do not. I think Justice will take a step forward in terms of consistent scoring. Sean averaged 12 on a 3-seed a couple years ago. And I think we have some young guys that at times could explode and go get, 15, 18, 19, 20. So I do think if you're saying, hey, is there a consistent guy that's going to get you that every night like EJ did, I think that's to be determined. That is a really hard, you have to be so good to do that. But I think there are more guys that are capable of having a night like Tanner had tonight.
Well, I think that's the name most people would expect you to say, and you didn't say it until
Tanner?
Yeah, until
No,
the
I
end.
think he's capable, yeah, for sure.
I just wondered if it's too big of a expectation for somebody coming from the Horizon League to the Big Ten to put that on him. Does he have to grow into that, or do you dare say this is what we need of you?
No, I think he's just got to be him. He's got to play his game. And he really struggled offensively in the scrimmage the other day. I think, but he works again. He works and he's gifted, and he's going to I think he's going to get more and more. He'll be like our freshman, where he'll get more and more comfortable as the season goes on. But I thought, again, tonight was it was great for him to see him make a couple catch and shoot threes, because that's going to be, I think, really important for his game.
You had said earlier that it's great to have some of these things on film, like in a game like tonight, things that you can show guys, lessons you've been harping on. And you've talked about normalizing struggle for the freshmen. How do you think these guys have handled some of those things, whether it's been the film from the scrimmage or some of those hard lessons after a rough practice? How have you seen this freshman group handle some of that in the early going?
I think progressively better, but that's progressively better. I think they've gotten their response has gotten a little bit better. Okay, how do you respond in the moment? But you're building habits, just like you're building habits in terms of playing in a stance or closing out. You're building habits to how you respond to moments where you struggle in the game. So I think our habits have gotten a little bit better, and it's not just been our freshmen. We've been on Zed and a couple other guys with that. But for them, they are building habits of resiliency, and that's good to see, but that's going to be a season-long thing.
It seemed like he gave you some things tonight, and it seems like, kind of going back to the Bahamas even, he's kind of been a little more consistent than maybe we've seen.
Yeah.
What has he given you in this preseason, and do you feel like you have a handle? Maybe he's not a guy that's going to get you EJ numbers, but do you have a handle on what you think he might give you night in and night out?
I think it can. I think it certainly can grow from last year, and it's going to need to, Adam, for us to be a good offensive team. We're going to need to be able to play through him. He's going to have to make some decisions. He's going to have to be able to deal with some traps and be a better passer. and he's going to have to be. He's a terrific offensive rebounder. He's got to improve his defensive rebounding, but he's a terrific offensive rebounder, and he's got to stay in good shape so he can run the floor.
Tanner said he's comfortable playing in whatever role you ask him to. Is coming off the bench something you see for him throughout the season, or was that tonight just working through things?
I think that'll evolve, but yeah, I mean, I think he's come off the bench the last couple, opportunities we've had. So I think he'll play like my anticipation is he'll play in that starter type minutes. That would be, he's got to earn it, but he has up to this point. But he'll play starter minutes, whether it's starting or coming off the bench.
What has it been like going through the preseason with, obviously you've had Jake for several years, and Mike, but guys in different roles, and like looking over at Jake and talking to him about the offense, looking over at Jack talking about defense, like what have some of those conversations been like, just figuring out what you want from them and you figuring out how to kind of coordinate all that? Yeah,
more teaching, more meetings, more conversation, more staff meetings probably than what we've had. Just more making sure we understand kind of where we're at, and even that, offense and defense, that's going to take a little bit of time. Pete knew exactly what I wanted offensively, and he knew exactly kind of what my expectations were, so that just more of that stuff.
When you're stacking that on top of such a new roster, you said more meetings and things like that, but is it good to have all those changes when you're dealing with the new roster because you're all kind of figuring things out at the same time, or is that more challenging because you're dealing with new coordinators as well as new players? Yeah,
the good thing is Jake was involved. He was the defensive coordinator last year, but he was also, he understood how we wanted to do things offensively. And he knew that was going to be the role eventually he was going to move into. Mike, I've been with for a number of years. And, Jack and I had a lot of basketball conversations during the hiring process and got great respect for his basketball pedigree and knowledge, both from Purdue and being a head coach. Anything else?
Can you get one more?
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to draw too many conclusions from these, but the pace seemed to be kind of fast in this game, and I'm just wondering, guys talked at Media Day about wanting to play faster this year, and is that something that you think is achievable when you've got a freshman point guard and so many new faces? Could this be a faster tempo team?
Well, I think we need to play faster, Adam, and I've said that. I think it's hard to make too many judgments from an exhibition game versus a Division II team. But I do think our pace overall needs to get better. I still think at times we didn't play with quite the pace we need to. But hard to make that judgment after this one. So, all right, thanks, guys.